What's going on? It is, what day is it? Friday. It's the best day of the week. It's Friday. I'm here. Maybe you know me as Liam. Maybe you know me as Pomey. Maybe you know me as, I don't know, the weird kid that lives next to you because my roommates don't talk to me. But whatever it is, we're back. And also, I have no idea what I'm going to, continue to name this. My fly's down. Oh, it's not even in frame. All right. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to continue to, name this series or even, if I'm even going to name it in general. But almost 3 years ago now, I started, how do I put my hands? I'm like, how should I position myself? I can't figure that out. This just makes me look hella mean. All right. Yeah, I started this series 3 years ago, and it was called DIGATS, and it was called Damn, I Got a Lot to Say. And it was basically as soon as I got the confidence to start talking about stuff online and just kind of expressing whatever I wanted to say and put music out, I was like, I want to create a platform where I can talk about whatever I want. And then recently, I've been trying to just put more content up on this channel and just more personal stuff. Because the thing that's been going through my head, and I'm sure you guys can resonate with this, is my favorite artist ever is Mac Miller. You can see the tattoo right here. And if Mac Miller, and there's a poster of him over here, but if Mac Miller had a channel of just a bunch of personal content, I would be in love. I would be like, wow, I'm so glad this exists. I'm so glad I can just sit here and have some eyes into his personal life. And that's what I kind of hope to do for you guys and just, bring you cool and interesting content. So yeah, it might continue to be DIGATS or DIGATS, which is Damn, I Got a Lot to Say. It might just be personal check-ins and I'll just name one individually. But for now, it's just me and you and whoever else is watching. And yeah, I was thinking about different stuff I kind of want to talk about. And something that I haven't touched a lot about in depth is my sobriety and my recovery. Here's the thing. Maybe you're somebody that I know and we go to the top secret cult meetings together. And in that case, you know that I'm a absolute sobriety wizard, the most humble, with no ego and no pride problems, and have everything figured out all the time. I literally just spent an hour just scrolling through all the pictures and screenshots of messages because I used to be super sentimental and all this crazy stuff from the times of me using. And yeah, I've definitely been dealing with a little bit of FOMO right now. It's kind of a coincidence because I was just kind of talking hot stuff about how I don't get that much, but it's the truth. And then I saw these pictures and I was kind of sitting here tripping out. So I feel I should just update it. I'm gonna throw this in there because that's pretty comedic that I'm oh yeah, I don't feel FOMO that much. And then I go to edit the video and I'm looking at all this stuff. It's old screenshots, me in high school, me and my friends partying, everybody messed up, old relationships. I'm just looking at it oh my God. And I was lost in the sauce for, I don't even know, an hour and a half. So I guess yeah, I wanted to touch on my sobriety, just a couple specific things because I got sober really, really young. I got sober around 18 years old and I started trying to get sober. I'm 21 now. And I started trying to get sober at maybe 16. That's when I was getting into trouble and getting kicked out of school and just all kinds of just craziness. And so something that I wanted to touch on specifically pertaining, I think that's the right word, pertaining to my sobriety is getting sober young. Like I said, I got sober at 18 years old, And there's a lot of weird things that happen when you get sober and you're 18 years old. You're not even in college yet. I didn't go to college, but a lot of people, that's like when they start college at 18 years old. And everyone and their mama knows, what do you do in college? You just drink and you party and you wake up hungover and you maybe make it to class and then you do it again and then you do a little bit of drugs and you drink a little bit more and you just get into trouble, and that's just what you do there. And then occasionally you learn a little bit too. So what I want to talk about today is FOMO and the fear of missing out, because I know for me, just because of the way that I used, and just to clarify for anyone who doesn't know, I'm a totally open book. I started trying to get sober because I had a really bad coke and pill problem. And when I ended up finally getting sober around two years later, maybe a little bit more than that, I was shooting crystal meth. So because of the way that I used, because of the things that I did when I was out there, I very much didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. I didn't feel like, oh, I wish I could go out to this party and drink with these people, or I wish I could just, smoke a little bit of weed with my friends, because I didn't do that. That's not how I use, that's not my story. But for anyone who may be getting sober right now, or maybe thinking about it or wondering what it's like, there is a huge FOMO, which is the fear of missing out, issue that can pop up for some people. And I can't say that I've never had it. It just wasn't as big as a lot of other people's, because I know a lot of my other friends were maybe a little bit older, like the age I'm at now, getting sober. And so, they were 21, they had been out to the bars, they had been out to the clubs, their drinking was like a little more controllable. And you get sober and you're young, like even under like 35, you're like, I can't go out to clubs, I can't drink, I can't smoke weed or do drugs with my friends. Like, what am I gonna do? How do you even socialize? What do you do with your time? Like, what happens when they all want to go to Cancun and go party? Like, am I just supposed to sit at home? And like, people are tripping, people are freaking out. They're like, I don't know what to do. Here's what I can say. I think that, if you are an addict or if you are an alcoholic, I'm both. I'm an addict and an alcoholic. And the thing is that we don't realize in our addiction, in our alcoholism, in our disease, when we're drinking and using, is that drink and that drug has control of our lives. Every day that I woke up, whether it was at a friend's house, at the girlfriend's house, at my house, in a car, whatever, the thing that made all my decisions that day was how I was gonna get drunk or high again. I didn't get a choice. I may tell myself, I want to drink. Yeah, I need a drink. Oh, life is stressful. I need a drink, or like, I'm stressed out. I'm anxious. I need a pill, or I need something like this. What really controlled me is that I could not live with myself sober. And I needed a drink. And why that plays in to FOMO is because when we first get sober and when we're thinking about getting sober, we're like glamorizing the drink. We're like, oh, I remember all the good times, like I remember the first night I got drunk and then I woke up with this like bad chick in the morning and I was like, damn, like this is so good. Like we killed it. And then I called up my boys and I was like, dude, like this, but that's not what actually happened. Maybe one time. But then what happened all the other times? All the other times I got blacked out. I woke up somewhere. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know where my phone was. I didn't know where my wallet was. Or I got drunk and I was talking to cops later that night and I was getting in trouble with the law. And that's the stuff my brain doesn't remember. And literally being a slave to drugs and alcohol. Not, oh yeah, I miss, just wanting to go out for a drink with my friends. I never did that. Never once have I done that. And if I did, I went out for a drink and then dished them to go find drugs and drink somewhere else. It was never, ever like that. And so that's the thing I've found with like, FOMO, trying to get sober young, and like worried about what I'm gonna do, or am I gonna be missing out on this? The bottom line is that if you are an addict or alcoholic, my type, which probably mean, like if you relate to the stuff that I say when I talk about sobriety, you might be, but I'm not, I'm not here to define you. All I know is my experience. The freedom that I got from getting sober was so much more valuable than any time I went to a cool party, or any time I was like with my friends and just that right amount drunk, not too drunk, but like pretty buzzed, and I was feeling confident, and I was like, yeah, I'm on top of the world, and like I feel like Drake right now, like that does not compare to the way that every day of my life feels, because I have a freedom from drinking and using drugs. I can go into a club today, I can go into a bar, and people are drinking, and like I know they're doing drugs in the bathroom. Like I'm not stupid. I know what's going on, and I'm unaffected by it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what they're doing. Like I know what I came here to do. That's like dance or like make some connections. I was going to this club when I was like maybe a year sober. It was like an 18 and up club, which is hella funny. If anyone is watching this from San Francisco, City Nights. And we were going over there, and like, my buddies would maybe be drinking, maybe doing some drugs, like anything like that. And I would be coming in there with business cards. I had a different intention. I was so hyped that I wasn't all spun out, or I wasn't anxious, or I wasn't hungover or anything like that. And I was like, damn, I'm just trying to make connections. I meet a girl, hey, yeah, I make music, here, check it out. Meet somebody else, oh yeah, I make music, and like that was my intention, because the valuableness of the freedom that I had from drugs and alcohol was so much greater than that feeling of just like being able to be like, in somebody's house like this, be like, oh yeah, let me hit the blunt, or let me get a beer, or something like that. It didn't compare. So I think that like my main point in saying this would be that, like if you've thought about getting sober young, and you don't need to be an addict or an alcoholic to get sober. Like if you feel like you got a problem with it and you don't feel like it's doing something good in your life, then there's plenty of people that just choose not to drink, that never had a really bad problem. But the main thing that I would say is that like you probably aren't going to be missing out on anything. I'm not missing out on anything. The amount of freedom that I have to pursue music, to have great relationships, to wake up and be okay and not be hungover, spun out, or to go spend money on food and go out to eat, or to drive my own car legally, like the freedom that I have in all those things is so much better than that one drink or that one blunt or one pill or whatever it was. And that at the end of the day, you're not really missing out on anything. I'm not missing out on anything. I could dance better sober. I could talk to people better sober. Not right away. when I first got clean, I was a weirdo. I was like uncomfortable in my own skin. I was like, oh, who do I talk to? How do I do this? I would like show up like where there's like loud music playing and like people are grooving because they're a little bit tipsy, and I'm just like, oh, I'm like a wallflower, But you warm up to it. You just figure out what works for you. Oh, okay, I feel good now. I'm kind of like, I'm okay. And then at the end of the day, it's a long, slow process, but I feel better. It's just like I'm always on and off caffeine, right? Like right now I'm drinking coffee. I got my coffee right here. But there's times where we're at 13 minutes already. See, that's why it's called this. Damn, I got a lot to say, you feel me? But there's times where I, will like cycle off a coffee. I'm like, okay, I'm drinking too much coffee. And right away, I'm like really tired. Like I'm drinking no coffee now, no tea, no caffeine, nothing. I'm really tired. But then after, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, oh, I just ripped a nice fart. That was kind of nasty. But after like that month, I have like more steady energy and just a better energy and a more alive personality and like better work ethic all the way through the day. And that's exactly how it was getting sober. Is right away I might be like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to dance because I can't have that drink, or how am I gonna go talk to girls, or how am I gonna go make connections or do all this stuff. But I gotta let myself grow into my body, and then I'm good, and today, like, I'm free of all that, and it was so worth the process that I went through. So, I don't know. Hopefully that like provided some value to somebody. I just think that, I've been given a unique gift and like a blessing that I got to get sober early. And, I just kind of want to take a second to talk a little bit more about it. Obviously, there's like so many other things I could cover on this topic, and I probably will. But, I would say to anyone who may be thinking about it or struggling with it, and just like that FOMO, and you're just like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna be okay? Like, it's one day at a time. It's one day at a time. And, right now I have a little bit over 3 years sober, and like, it's amazing. It's amazing, but it did not happen overnight. I was insane for a good amount of time, for a while. So just, just be easy on yourself. And, like, if you are struggling, or even if you're not struggling and you just came across this video and, you're doing your thing, you're trying to get clean, or you're clean, like, reach out, always reach out. So yeah, I think that's going to conclude the video. I'm going to maybe put like a little cool intro in here or something, wrap it up, and then throw it up, and, you guys can let me know what you think. It's January something of 2022. Got a show next week. It's gonna be lit. Yeah, it's been a good day so far. I just ate lunch, but I'm like still hungry, so I'm gonna go handle that. Anyways, I don't have anything to outro the video with, but just stay up, keep doing good. Even when it's bad, it's still good. You're gonna figure it out, and I will see you next week. I'm gonna do one video a week, so see you then. Yeah.